Hi Aries, welcome to your July 2023 Astro-Tarot scope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Aries. This is for you, and I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. If you are only going to watch one, I would advise that you make it your ascendant because these are based on the astrology. I use tropical whole sign Western astrology. These are likely to be the most accurate for you from that ascendant sign. Remember, they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for you guys this month, I'm tagging a little something on that I'm trying out. Let me know if you love it or you loathe it. It's just a little short snippet. So your themes for the month are love and children, money and health. Those are the sort of larger broad strokes that are seeming to sort of play out, and in terms of the transits that I'm looking at, you'll start to kind of understand why. So on July the 1st, like literally as soon as we get out of the gate, Venus is going to square Uranus, right? So this is happening between your second house of money, finances and resources and your fifth house of creative self-expression, children, etc. Now, it's also the house of romance, that fifth house. So this could be some kind of disruptive energy that changes a creative idea or dynamic in your life. It's also possible that a financial issue could get in the way of a romantic connection. So I am going to say right at the beginning of the month, maybe money and partnership, especially if it's like a new relationship, don't necessarily mix. Uranus has been shaking things up for you in your finance sector for quite a while now, like the last 3+ years, and still got about 3 years to go at this point. And in a square to its host, Venus, because Venus rules Taurus, which is where Uranus is, you might be getting a lot of ideas, like creative ideas at the moment. You might be having a lot of fun with either a hobby or something like that, but realizing that the finances that you need to enact sort of some of these ideas might be a little bit less than cooperative. So just something to keep in mind. Now, if you have children, I do wonder if they hit you with some kind of unexpected expense. Money and relationships in general, especially if this is like a new relationship, as I said, this is not the time to do it. It is also worth mentioning, because you are a fire sign, there is a grand fire trine that's taking place on this day. So it's actually a really good day for action. Providing you have thought through all of the steps that you're about to take. So in terms of this, you've got the Devil card with the Emperor, okay, and the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, look, in terms of finances and resources, this is potentially a disruptive day for you, and a period, right? And you know what's interesting is obviously Venus is going to be going retrograde this month, so it's not the first pass of this transit that you're going to have. This is just one out of I think it's 2 for this one, whereas the square to Jupiter is going to be 3 times. For you, these cards are basically saying there is a financial disruption coming up. It may actually be either with a job or an institution though, which I hadn't considered when I looked at the astrology. What also comes through with this as well, because the Five of Pentacles with the Emperor, that is a financial loss that comes through an association or an institution of some sort. But with the Devil card, this does suggest, and maybe it's not just specifically for you, I wonder if this is an interruption. Tarot does this thing every so often where he will, I say he, I have personified Tarot. Tarot does this really weird, interesting thing where sometimes a message will come through for one of the signs, but it will be it's what I've come to call an interruption. It's where this message isn't necessarily just for your specific sign, it's actually a world message. I think that first of July, I think we're going to see a very big disruption to the finance sector, the banking sector, and possibly even you know, the technological aspects of those things. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. If you see anything in the news, you know I love it when you let me know. Now, the second transit that I would like to look at is on July the 11th. Mercury, the lord of haste, speed, energy, pranks, laughter, is coming into your fifth house of so it's coming into the sign of Leo, which for you is your fifth house. This is pleasure, romance, it is exciting, it's a really lucky energy as well. So Mercury's bringing like a dose or a shot of coffee into that fifth house space. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the course of, you know, the next sort of 4 weeks at least, you start to get really creative. Ideas just start popping 2 and 3 and 4 a penny. It is going to immediately square the north and south node, so I'm expecting some kind of communication that comes in and potentially helps you see romance or love in a very different light. Maybe even children and or self-expression as well, kind of give you a different outlook in some regard. Now, Mercury wants to have fun, especially in the sign of Leo and especially in the fifth house. This is a very lucky house, so this could be a really good time. Like if you want to put a bet on something, you know, don't bet the house and the kids on the roulette table, as I like to say, but use it, like use that little speculative thing, right? If you get that little nudge or someone says to you, oh yeah, by the way, you know, this horse is tipped to win, chuck a fiver on it. Who knows, right? Who knows? Who knows, literally. It might also be some welcome news about your work duties, or maybe you start getting like really cracking on with a health regime. If the latter is true, where you start some kind of health regime, etc., go to a class or something where you're doing this with a lot of people. If you're gonna embark on something that has that kind of health and fitness kind of hobby type situation, do it with at least one other person. Mercury likes to do things in pairs, and in the fifth house, that could literally be something that you find really enjoyable but has like a really sort of healthy energy behind it as well. For this, you've got the Four of Pentacles with the Fool card. Okay, nice. And the Five of Swords. So you might have ideas on how to kind of lean into this, but it looks like you've got like a little bit of a party pooper or somebody that's like a bit of a naysayer. It might also be, let's say around the first, you are talking about some kind of financial challenge or issue or difficulty. And then here around the 11th, you're like, yeah, you know, I'm going to do this thing. It's really exciting. And you've got someone that's like, wow, I thought you didn't have any money. Or, you know, there's always somebody that has to kind of like take it to that downer kind of space. So watch out for that, because it's definitely going to be possible or certainly lingering. The other thing as well, because that Four of Pentacles falls on top of the Emperor, on top of the Devil card and next to the Emperor. We're going to see some big financial disruption here in July, right at the beginning of it. I really feel like this first 2 weeks of the month is going to be an interesting time for sure. On the 20th of July, Mars is going to oppose Saturn. So Mars is your ruling planet, right? So it's in the sign of Virgo at this time. And you will feel this transit coming in before, but it becomes exact on the day of the 20th of July, right? So you'll feel it probably for about a week before you, because it starts to apply, you'll feel that. Now, it's worth noting here, because Mars is your ruler and it's in your 6th house. Now, Mars in ancient astrology, at least, Mars exalted in the 6th house, which means it does some of its best work there. So, you know, if you're an Aries ascendant especially, this is great for you, because Mars is going to do good work there. It's going to make you dutiful. It's going to see you paying attention to the details and seeing tasks through to completion. It's bringing energy and passion and desire to get shit done when it comes to your daily routines, which is great. You're getting proactive about your health, maybe getting a bit more serious about it as well. It's also possible that some kind of gut irritation might be possible. So if you've already got problems or challenges with that digestive system, This could be a really good time for you to start figuring out, okay, what is it that I'm eating? What is it that I'm not eating or not ingesting? What nutrients am I deficient in? You can really start to home in on that. As the ruler of your 8th house, Mars might also be bringing a finality to things that you release, right? So maybe you say to yourself, yeah, ready to give up sugar now, or you know what, I'm going to be a vegetarian, or maybe I'm going to start eating meat, whatever the case might be. If you want to quit something, this transit is good to use in the sense that it will give you the energy. It's not so great to use because it will be really fucking hard. But the truth of the matter is, if you can do the hard thing straight away, as you progress into it, you've done it, right? You've cinched it because you've done it the hard way. Saturn is a reality check, and because it's in the 12th house, you're really lucky with this transit, actually, luckier than any other sign, because Saturn exalts in the 12th house. So you've got Mars and Saturn both in spaces of the chart that they actually like to be. Although they're in an opposition, it could see something that has like a really difficult beginning to get past, but once you do, it's kind of like the strong man, right? Once they get that bus moving, that's where they've spent the most of their power and where they need to. After that, it's just hand over hand, hand over hand, right? That's it. It's the getting started that's the difficulty here, I think. It suggests to me that you want to relax and chill out and maybe take it easy and even tend to your spiritual needs, but the universe has other ideas, and so does Mars, right? So you're going to have to find a way to balance these energies out. Now, for this, you've got the 5 of Wands with the King of Swords and the Temperance card. So for a lot of you, I wouldn't be surprised if you are checking in with a healthcare professional. Somebody that has, but this would be somebody that isn't necessarily like, what's the best way to describe it? This could be like maybe you go to see a doctor who is also a registered herbalist, or, you know, maybe you go to see a herbalist who is also, you know, has a degree in science. It's like you're fusing the mystical and more sort of holistic energies and ideas and ideologies with the more practical and scientific and analytical. It's such an amazing blend of energies to have and insights to have, because when you have those dual energies, you've really got all bases covered, right? And this is the problem. You know, I'm not a doctor, I can't give medical advice, but my biggest peeve with the Western medicine tradition is that they just treat the body and the symptoms. They don't look at anything else. And that, to me, it's like you're missing this whole other dimension to what human life is actually about. You could be finding someone or connecting with somebody that really helps you do this. On a more sort of ground level, on a personal level, that 5 of Wands, especially with the King of Swords, it does suggest that there's a hard conversation here when it comes to work, when it comes to what you believe, when it comes to maybe where you get in your own way. You are going to have a reality check here this month, Aries. And I got to be honest with you, you know me, when I'm for you, I'm for you. When you need to be told, you need to be told. And I hold myself to that same standard. Whatever this person says to you, and it might not be the healthcare professional, this might be a boss, it could be a sibling, it could be a friend. Someone's going to tell you something around this 20th of July that's going to be a real reality check for you. And when you hear it, your first instinct is going to be to be an Aries, right? The truth of the matter is, if you can call your fire and you can hear what they're actually saying to you, what they do say to you can help you advance your path probably 5 years ahead in a very short space of time. Choice is yours, I'll leave you with that. On the 23rd of July, Mercury is going to square Uranus and Venus is going retrograde. This is all happening again between that 2nd house of money, finances and resources, the 5th house of pleasure, creativity, joy and self-expression. So the ruler of your 2nd and 7th houses is squaring and the lord of disruption, Uranus, in your 2nd house, right? So Mercury is squaring Uranus. Now, it's likely that this is going to be some kind of communication that comes in that's potentially quite shocking. At the same time, Venus is going to go retrograde, so it could be that old friends get back in touch. very much to your surprise, and it could be that you're really not sure how you kind of feel about it. For some of you, this could be that that you're reaching out to an old partner or hearing from someone that you once dated. It could be just as random and at the most sort of like inopportune moment. Do you know what I mean? I just have to be honest. To be honest, the whole day in general is quite disruptive. And in terms of the Venus retrograde, if you want to find out about that and you want to delve more into it, the Venus webinar is, you can get that. The replay is up. There's lots of goodies that come with it as well that are totally worth having. So you can get that on the link in the description box below. And for this, you have the Three of Cups. So there's the reunions with the Eight of Cups, but you're not sure how you feel about it, and the Justice card. So for some of you, there is a reconnection on the cards. For others, this reconnection, or certainly this reunion of sorts, is going to throw a real spanner in the works. This could be that you run into an ex while you're with your current partner. And I've got to be honest with you, you know, and this isn't for everybody, but the saying goes, everybody is the villain in somebody's story. This could be the one that got away. It could be the one that caused you a problem or an issue, and vice versa. And it kind of feels to me like and this is for those specifically of you that are partnered, if you're in a relationship or you've just met somebody new, as some of you will have, your previous partner could be hell-bent on telling your current partner something about you that you have kept hidden. Watch out for that, because it's potentially quite explosive. All right. Now, when it comes to your moons, on July the 3rd, we have the full moon in the sign of Capricorn, which for you is your 10th house. I'm not going to go into there you go. There's your jumping card. I'm not going to go into great detail because you'll get your new and full moon reports. So for the Capricorn full moon on the 3rd of July, you've got the Gate 54 and Ambition, right? This is a great card to have actually for a full moon that's happening in the 10th house, because this is a money card. So there's a potential here for you to make money, for you to maybe have an idea or start to enact an idea that really helps you. It's also highlighting your talent, skills and abilities and where you can get more money out of them. The Cancer new moon is happening on July 17th, and that is happening at, I think it's like 11 degrees of Cancer. No, that's the full moon, sorry. The new moon in Cancer is happening at 24 degrees. Ha! Look at that, right? 24 degrees, literally. And this card actually represents, so the returning energy is about bringing something back into the fold that you had either let go of or that you hadn't really given enough time, effort, space, or whatever. This is about going back to the start in some ways. Now, interestingly enough, Cancer is a sign of birthing things into the world. And it's also an energy that is very reflective. So therefore it kind of looks at and thinks and clings to the past in some way. So this new moon in Cancer is going to very much, I think it's going to highlight to you something that is ready now to move ahead, that you are, that you can bring into fruition. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.